All right, plenty of discussion since that unfolded on Saturday night. Gus, was it a send-off, a sin bin? In the end, it was a fine from the match review committee. There's a bit of, I guess they're not on the same page here. It's been clear to see. What should it have been?
Don't do it. What have you done it for?
Here's a red rag.
What have you done it for?
Well, they got that wrong.
What about the fine?
Eh? Well, everyone's just highly sensitive to it, and that's just where we are at the moment. Referees and bunkers, they don't know what they're doing with it, and how they come up with a send-off for that, I will never know. They go back and reflect on it now, and the only reason they've given him as a fine to support the fact that they did this and sent him off on the night. I mean, it wasn't even worth a fine. It's not even worth a charge.
Is it the worst send-off ever?
Eh?
Is it the worst
No,
send-off?
I've seen worse. Not
I've
many.
seen worse than that.
Not many, but I've seen worse.
Would you have gone to the judiciary and challenged the fine, Gal, or accepted
course.
it?
No, I would have got the fine. I wouldn't have worried about it. But seriously, that's...
Sharks would have paid it. He wouldn't have paid it.
Mate, no, that was crazy. And then you see the Kevin Proctor one, which he did, nothing happens to him. Then in the same game, he plays sent for sin bins, and then the Mike Acevo one.
He knew it.
He knew it, yeah.
He hits the ground. Yeah.
It was filthy, but I've got to say, I feel sorry for the referees. The referees are out there making decisions on what they see live, right? They cannot sit in a bunker like we are, or sit at home like we do, watching replay after replay to see exactly where the contact was and how the contact was made. Also, the bunker should have someone in there, say, from the match review committee to say, that would possibly be a ground. That's definitely chargeable. That's what they should have.
So this was my next question, was how do you get the match review committee on the same page as those that are making the decisions?
I think they should have someone in there. I think they should have someone in there to say this is a chargeable offence. If that's a chargeable offence, then you need to look at give a sin bin or a send-off. The thing about the send-off is the referees for 100 years, and we all know what a send-off looks like. There's very few send-off these days. There was a couple in the Magic round that were dead set shockers. But there's very few send-off these days when blokes walk running with a swinging arm, crack someone in the head. But when you see it, you know it's a send-off. Okay? Now, there's not too many of those these days. So I don't think you need anyone in there for send-offs. I think you need him in there for the 10 minutes in the sin bins.
We've had this crackdown now for how long? For a month?
3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
A month, all right. And still we're getting arms hanging out and collecting blokes on the chin, and some are down milking penalties, and some do get a little bit of a knock that's harder than others. You'd think after a month it was avoidable, they'd be able to avoid it, wouldn't they?
Without it.
All right, and then you get all these idiots in the media keep saying the solution is to tackle lower, all right? The solution is to tackle lower. That's going to create more head problems. The tackle technique that they have today there is there for a reason. And they're still coming up with little high shots like that because it's not always perfect. The game is played at such a speed, but that's the tackle technique that's safe for everybody. Boyd Cordner admitted today that his tackle technique caused all of his concussion issues, all of them. All of them, his tackle technique in going in low.
Because I think
same with Jake Friend.
It's the tackle technique that is causing these players to be concussed, not the running, not the players running that are getting hit high or clipped
100%.
That's
100%. Which is why you're going to keep getting inconsistency with this. But the solution is not just to tell players to tackle lower.
Oh, I agree with you.
So what players have done and what clubs have done has been submissive. What they're doing is now trying not to attack the ball carrier. We'll just submit. We'll just run with him and get him down gently. But they're not running any softer. All right? The attack's not running any softer, which means we're getting 68, 69, 58, 58, 52, 50 points to 6 origins. We're getting all the... Why? Because all advantages with the attacking team. The wrong people are in charge of trying to fix this. It's as simple as that. The crackdown wasn't necessary, but it's created a problem for everyone. All right? And trying to put Boyd Cordner as a poster boy for concussion is a disgrace when he admits himself that it was his own tackling technique that caused the issue. Not these types of crackdowns that we're trying to rub out of the game.
That'll be done, though, Gus. I don't think Boyd should be put up like that. But
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't as well.
He's not the poster boy for concussion that they're trying to crack down on. This is all about high shots. And you're trying to explain to these people, if you think the solution to high shots is to get everyone to tackle lower, you don't know what you're talking about, all right? And you can't change this tackle technique overnight. You would think after 4 weeks the players wouldn't be doing it. But the margin of error is so fine to accommodate the rest of the rules of the game and the way they have to tackle players and stop the ball movement and stop the offloads and control the tackle, which is all they're all coached to do. You can't get rid of it overnight. We've had 4 weeks of crackdown and still blokes hang their arm out occasionally and I'll slap one in the face. That's not the way that we fix it.
Gal, oh, sorry.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
could that be any clearer?
I was down Cronulla today, working with the defensive coach in ways to try to teach guys how to tackle so they don't hang arms out anymore. One of my ways that I've tried to kind of is keep elbows in tight, elbows as close to the body as you can. Now, if you're in the forwards and you've got 3 blokes either side of you, That's probably not too hard to do. But if you're out on the edges and you're one-on-one, when you've got a couple of metres either side and you've got a fleet-footed centre running that way, then all of a sudden cuts back there, you can't do this. You're going to hang your run, and every now and then you're going to clip him high. And it's going to be an accident, and it's probably worth a penalty. But being sent to the sin bin or sent off, that could totally change the game. No, that's not what the game's about. It's not what the game's about. It should be refereed the way it was refereed in Origin.
You're working with players closely. Are they confused? Do they know how
Everyone's
to handle
confused, and everyone's really concerned about it, because a penalty in the game these days is so influential on the result. You throw on top of that someone in the sin bin, that's even more influential, and someone sent off is even more influential. So everyone's concerned about it. Everyone's doing their best not to hit anyone high. They're trying their backsides off. But as Gus said, this game is played at such a high speed. Things go wrong like that. You don't have time to control everything.
Gal, the byproduct of players milking it, and it's still happening. It was happening this afternoon as well throughout the round. How do we put an end to it?
I've said the same thing for 3 years at least. If you want to stay down at any point in the game, if the NRL is that serious about head and neck injuries or head and neck problems, if you stay down like that, you must go off for a HIA. You must. You must go off for a HIA assessment. And you know what? If you don't go off for a HIA assessment, it's because the orange shirt has gone out to you and the orange shirt has assessed you. Now, that orange shirt trainer, that one there, he's medically trained. So if the player does not go off and should go off, then his integrity is then questioned. Now, you can't do that. Now, that would stop players staying down for a start, and it would also take the necessary players who need to be assessed off the field.
You agree, Gus?
No, yes, no, I don't know. I don't know. We went through this 30 years ago. I mean, this is not new to me. We went through all this milking stuff 30 years ago. The way to stop milking penalties is to stop giving penalties. Then they don't.
The thing about the milking, how do you stay? Look, I don't know what the score was then, but if it's 18-all in 2 minutes to go,
well, then Jack Hetherington's defence, he gets penalised every time he makes a tackle. He figured I was trying to get one back.
I'm not against Jack Hetherington. I'm not against Jack Hetherington for a second. I'll do the same thing as well. But what I'm saying
he was just trying to drag one back.
What I'm saying is, if he really, when he's hurt, the NRL's that serious about these head knocks, get him off the field. See if he stays down then.